Hey sis, it's Christina Falden here. I hope and pray you all are doing well. Today I wanted to come and talk to you about what you can start doing to prepare yourself for our next Mass Deliverance call. If you're unaware, each month we have a Mass Deliverance call, and as sisters are signing up, they're asking, hey, what can I start doing now to get ready? So what I want to do is share with you some things that you can start doing, start implementing now so that you can show up prepared and ready to get set free during our Mass Deliverance calls. Our next call is actually this Wednesday. It's at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're interested, know that all the information will be linked in the comment section. You can join us by just clicking that link below. But first, let me introduce myself. Hello, my name is Christina Paladin, and I have sisters elevate, enhance, and expand their lives by defeating the kingdom of darkness. I'm real passionate about fighting in the spirit, and I love teaching sisters how to do the same, how to fight in the spirit in order to get their breakthroughs. So that's a little bit about me. Let me hear from you, though. If you are new to these live streams, do a hashtag newbie in the comment section so I can welcome you to this live stream. If you've been here before, then do a hashtag #HeySis. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, I'm going to be sharing with you some things that you can start doing today to prepare yourself for our next Mass Deliverance call this Wednesday. And I have three things that I'm going to be discussing, but I do want to mention that I think it was last week or maybe the week before, I did a video explaining what you can expect from our Mass Deliverance call. So I talk about who it's for and like what actually happens during our time together. So if you're kind of thinking, well, I'm not sure if this is for me, then be sure to check out that video because it breaks down what you can expect and helps you to see, is this actually something that you're needing? Okay, that will be in the comment section as well. But as I mentioned, as sisters are signing up for these calls, they're like, okay, well, what am I supposed to be doing now? Because I'm going through some things right now. They're kind of impatient or like, hey, no, I need deliverance right now. And I wanted to just share with you some things that you can be doing now so that when we do show up together for the Mass Deliverance call, that will be, it will be easier for you to get delivered. Okay. So I have three things here that you can start doing today to just help you in life, all together, just the things that you're dealing with in life, but also as we come together for our deliverance call, it'd be easier for you to come out of agreement with the enemy and easier to cast out the spirits and things that you are dealing with, okay? So the first thing I have here, number one, is to get control over your thoughts. You have to make sure that you get into the habit of guarding your thoughts. Something that I highly suggest sisters that work with me, something I ask that they do is take 24 hours, just pick a day, 24 hours. They evaluate every thought that enters into their mind. They can do this like every hour or just, a few times out of the day, just kind of check in and be like, okay, what was I thinking on? What did I ponder on? What thought, entered my mind? And this is going to help the sister realize a lot about herself, but also a lot about the enemy and how he's showing up, like the tricks and things that he is presenting to her and the things that she's actually fallen for and coming into agreement with. So what I suggest you do is just take some time and get used to acknowledging your thoughts, the good and the bad, because you want to make sure that you're not being deceived. So if you were someone, say you go, a few hours, maybe by lunchtime, you sit and you evaluate your thoughts and you notice that all your thoughts were kind of negative towards you. So it was like, as you're getting dressed, you're like, oh my goodness, you need to lose some weight, or, you're late for work and you're like, oh my goodness, you're always like late, like you can't get anything right. Like you're really harsh on yourself. Know that those are spirits, demons, and entities that are already dwelling in you. They're like manifesting through your thoughts, or the enemy is trying to get you to come into agreement with some of the things that he's saying, right? So you then start to realize that the enemy is going to get you to attack yourself, your own image, right? Or you can be someone who their thoughts are really like negative towards other people, right? So like you see people come and you're like, oh my goodness, like why is she wearing that? Like that is so unattractive. Or why did she say that? She's so dumb. You realize that you are harsh to other people. The thoughts that enter your mind are really about other people, right? And so then it's going to help you realize, okay, how is the enemy showing up? Like what's there? So this is going to help you really pinpoint what you're dealing with. But the main reason this is so that you can start getting into the habit of rebuking, renouncing those thoughts that are actually entering into your mind. Okay, so there's 2 points going on here. You can see where the enemy is operating, the things that you're currently dealing with, but then you're going to be actually getting into the habit of, as those thoughts are entering your mind, to cast them down. And this is going to help you after deliverance, because once you get whatever spirit, say you're dealing with the spirit of insecurity, so you're real harsh on yourself, the thoughts that enter your mind is just like dealing with like you, the things that you need to be changing and how you're not right, or whatever. So as you're going and you're getting this deliverance from like insecurities of whatever, you'll realize that the thoughts will pick up, like they will be more heavier, and that's because the enemy is trying to get you to come back into agreement with those thoughts. But once you have been set free of that spirit, the spirit of insecurity, then it's then going to be up to you. You will have the willpower to then rebuke it, because the spirit will not be dwelling in you. Okay. So that is something that you can start doing now, is guarding your thoughts, paying attention to your thoughts. If it's not a good thought, cast it down, rebuke it. And sometimes like the mind can be a very intense place, right? There's a lot of things that go on in our mind. A lot of us are dealing with like mental, things that are entering into our minds. And this is going to be like the first step to saying, what am I dealing with? And then once you get set free, you'll realize that it's not so loud. You can think more, you can hear clearly from the Father. And that's because that thing has been cast out. But know that the enemy is then going to try to use your thoughts again to get you to come into agreement with whatever it is that he's trying to present to you. Okay. So be sure that you are paying attention to your thoughts. Okay. Super, super important. If it's not a good thought, cast it down and then think of like the good things of the Father. Focus your thoughts and attention on the good things of the Father. Okay. So take control of your thoughts, get control of them, and start paying attention to them. The second thing is fasting. Y'all know I love fasting. That's because fasting is life changing. Anytime I do fast, like especially like big major fast, I come out of it completely different. I'm a different person every time I come out of like a big spiritual fast. But when we are talking about deliverance, the Bible teaches us that some things, some spirits, entities will not come out of a man unless they fast. So the only way to get rid of this demon, this spirit, this entity, is you're going to have to actually fast to get it cast out. Okay, so that's not for all spirits, but that's some spirits. If you see that, hey, I've been getting deliverance, or I've been going, trying to get this thing cast out, and it's not budging, you need to be fasting. But so when you're fasting, like from here, say until Wednesday, whenever we have our next deliverance calls, what fasting does, it does a whole lot. Okay, I'm gonna try to stick to deliverance. Okay, whenever you are fasting, you are denying your flesh. I want you to think of you fasting when we're speaking about deliverance, is you suffocating the enemy, you suffocating the spirit, the demon, the entity. So as you're fasting, know that you're suffocating it, and it is getting weaker and weaker. And this is because you are denying your flesh. You're not giving it grounds to operate, to manipulate. It is quiet, like, right? You're forcing it to stop. You're forcing it to sit. You're forcing it, to be quiet. So you don't have to really deal with it. That spirit then becomes weaker and weaker. And then your spirit man, because you're fasting, you're spending time with the Father, you're being filled up, it gets stronger and stronger. So it's able to deal with the spirit that could be like tempting you to do something. You'll be stronger. You have a stronger mentality of how to fight against the actual spirit. And again, that spirit is now weaker. Okay. So this is another thing that you should start doing, especially if you're dealing with a lot. And I know that a lot of y'all are dealing with multiple spirits, and a lot of them are dealing with your mind. I know, and I understand that. You're going to have to be fasting. You have to. That is the only way that you are going to be able to get the clarity. You're going to be able to get your mind unscrambled. You're going to have to start casting these things out. And in order to do that, some of them are not going to budge because they've been there, or because you sat in them for so long. You have to then start to fast. Okay. So know that fasting is extremely important. It's extremely beneficial on so many different levels. But when we're talking about deliverance and what you can start doing to make sure that when we have our mass deliverance, that it comes out like no hesitation, it's weak, then you need to be fasting. Okay. The next thing I have is spending time with the Father. You want to make sure you're being intentional and being intimate with the Father, making sure that, you're praying to the Father, you're spending time with the Father. And during this time, it's not about your request, your petitions, your need. It's not like the woe is me. It's not the Father, I need you. You are building up your relationship with the Father. You want to be able to allow him to pour into you, to minister to you, to fix you, to heal you. This is more about you developing a more intimate relationship with the Father. This is important because when you are getting delivered from a spirit, you are going to be stepping into a new person, right? We're supposed to die to our flesh every day, right? We're supposed to become a new person. We're supposed to be transformed. And as this is happening, this could be very awkward and uncomfortable for you because you're so used to your old self. And you see, okay, well, I know this isn't who I'm supposed to be. And who I am supposed to be is kind of confusing to me. Like, I don't understand who this person is, or, how am I supposed to get there? This is when you're going to be allowing the Father to actually pour into you, to actually mold you into, the being that you are supposed to be. If you're trying to do this without the Father, you could get deliverance, but you won't be who he created and designed you to be. But as you are going to the Father, as you're spending time, with the Father, you're allowing him to minister to you, because there are going to be some things that just don't make sense to you. And as you're trying to figure it all out on your own, the Father's going to be able to show you, daughter, this is where you're wrong. And this is how you're supposed, to be. This is the woman that you're supposed to be. And then you can actually receive that, as opposed to you just getting the deliverance and you're saying, okay, I'm not that old person, but I have no idea who I'm supposed to be. I have no idea what my calling is. I have no idea, what the Father is needing from me. So that's something else that you can start doing now, today, is getting closer to the Father, spending time with the Father. Like, carve out some time, some room, for him to just minister to you, to just be a vessel, just sit there and not ask for anything, but just him. Like, allow him to minister, allow him to mold you. This is then when you're going to start to become that person, that daughter that he originally called and created you to be. Okay, so those are the three things I have for you. I'm going to go over them again, just really quick. The first one was getting control of your thoughts. So sit in your thoughts, okay? Pay attention to the things that enter into your mind. I am real conscious of my thoughts. Every thought that enters into my mind, if it's not of the Father, like if it's not serving me, if it's a bad thought, I immediately rebuke it. Right. And this is years of me doing this, and know the thoughts still enter into my mind. Right. The enemy is still able to put things into my mind. But I know that, hey, if I sit in it, then I'm agreeing with it. So I immediately have to cast that thing out. Okay. So get control over your thoughts. Fasting, suffocate that demon, suffocate that spirit. And then while you're doing that, your spirit man is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, so that it will be able to let go, come out of agreement with that spirit, that demon, that entity, so that when you do get deliverance, it will be able to come out easier. The next thing is just spend time with the Father. Be intentional with being intimate with the Father, and allow him to just come and make you a new creature, design you into the creature that he created you to be. So those are the three things that you can start doing today to get you ready and prepared for the Mass Deliverance that's coming up Wednesday. But know that these are things that you need to be doing regardless. These are things that you're going to have to start implementing into your life if you are really trying to walk out your deliverance. Remember that spiritual warfare is daily. Every day the enemy is there. Every day the enemy has set some traps, some snares. Like he's doing all he can to just somehow bring you back. Somehow, make you the old person, that you were. So you have to make sure that you have put some things in place to fight against him. He's fighting you, he's at war against you. It makes no sense to just sit there and take it. Make sure you have some sort of strategy that's going to allow you to fight against the enemy as he is fighting you. Okay. So that is all I have for you all today. Again, if you want more, content about like spiritual warfare, self-development, growing closer with the Father, and be sure to like and subscribe so that you can get more content like this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Everything that I mentioned here, I will go ahead and post in the comment section. So be sure to check out the comment section. Any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I will talk to you later.